Welcome back from the bye week, Kory. We are MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I'm Ben Raven. He's Kory Woods.
What up, though, Ben? How's it going?
Good. Back into the swing of things, man. Did you have a good bye week?
I did have a good bye week. I felt like I was still working because I had to go do some photo stuff for friends.
Yeah.
But all in all, I got to sleep.
You got a cool honor, too.
Oh,
Let's talk you up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. So, got Michigan Chronicle 40 under 40.
At the deadline.
39 years old. Shout out to everybody over there and my guy Jay Allen, who was really instrumental in me getting that too as well. So
MLive legend Jeremy Allen.
Yeah,
that's right. Love Jeremy. Great work there. Had to give you a shout out. It's a cool honor, man.
Yeah.
You were looking good too.
Oh yeah, man. I had to go get me an old fade, get a new suit. Might see that suit at Ford Field at some point.
Playoff suit.
Oh yeah, there we go. Playoff suit.
Yeah, exactly. I bring out the nice coat for the playoffs too. Fun to talk about that. The playoffs. But the Lions are back. They're 5-2. They host the Minnesota Vikings this weekend, and there's been some news we must discuss before we get into a little mailbag podcast. Oh, yeah. The Hutch deal is done, and what a price it was. But you're not going to hear me complaining. You had to keep him 4 years, $181 million, $45 per year. With 141, it's 180 million, 141 million guaranteed, the most money guaranteed to a non-quarterback in NFL history. No-brainer deal to get done.
Oh, absolutely. And I still think that he probably gave them a nice little haircut on it because, it's a little bit less than the Micah Parsons deal. But I think me and you have been talking about it each week. It's like, okay, the first week it was what it was. But after that, it's like, all right. Week 2, okay. Week 3, okay. Week 4, all right.
Guys, he's back. Get it done.
It's getting pricey. Get it done. But it's good to get that deal done. And I also think that it was really interesting, the timing of it. They got it done right out of the bye. I thought they would have got it done before the bye, but they got it done right out of the bye. But before the trade deadline. So now the Lions are, I'm not saying we know if they're going to make a deal or not, but if they decide to, they know where they stand financially going into Tuesday.
Yeah, we got some mailbag questions for that too. We'll get into that. We got another Doomer of the week. Questions, guys. Voice memos, record yourself, send it in. Send a question in. Look for us on social media, but dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. You can send them there 24/7, 365. Either Kory or myself or producer Patrick will get those. We'll take care of you. We'll get you featured on the podcast. We love the voice memos. Got a couple this week, thanks to those guys. But yeah, Hutchinson, man, leads the league in pressures. He's got a sack in 5 of the last 6 games. He's recovered or forced a fumble in 5 straight games. He faces double teams and chips and triple teams and extra attention almost more than anybody in the league. And he does it while just playing a buttload of snaps. That's what was Kelvin Sheppard? Kelvin Sheppard was asked about maybe getting Hutchinson off the field for a couple snaps.
He's like, hey, we gave him half the building. He needs to be out there. And hey, I get it. That leg looks great, Yeah. Lock on wood and, get every penny out of him, every drop you can.
Yeah. I just loved we gave him half the building, and also you try to take Aidan Hutchinson off the field.
Right.
You tell me how that goes for you. So, yeah, I liked that. Branch is back from suspension. I wrote about him earlier this week. And then the other piece of news, rumor, innuendo, whatever you want to call it, Kelvin Sheppard's name has been pretty hot on social media.
Yeah.
AI-generated photos of him on the sideline as LSU's football coach. Brian Kelly got fired at LSU. Sheppard won a national title there as a linebacker, was a standout linebacker, 3rd-round pick after his career there, came back as director of player development in 2020 before he landed with the Lions. It's a name to watch, no doubt about it. And you know what? Shep was awesome on it, so I'm just going to shut the heck up and let you listen to Kelvin Sheppard.
I can't be interested in something I have no idea about. So, I'm interested in beating the Minnesota Vikings. I'm tasked with another Tiger this week in Justin Jefferson, since we're on a Tiger conversation. And that's a tall one. He's one of the LSU greats. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing us come off this bye week and stop cutting ourselves short of the potential, I believe, who we could be as a defense and as a team. It's time to make this final push, and it starts with us limiting points, putting our offense in certain situations to capitalize off us giving the ball back to them. So It's a lot of things you get into and speculate about, but the truth of the matter is nobody has contacted me about anything dealing with a job outside of anything I'm doing right now. And that's the honest truth.
Yeah, what'd you think of Shep's handling of those questions? He knew they were coming.
He knew they were coming, and that was a perfectly well nuanced, layered, whatever you want to call it. It was a well said answer, and I have no problem with it. I don't think anybody should as well. I don't think I need to say too much else on that.
No. He said he's a liger. He's half lion, half tiger.
that was hilarious.
Of course he loves his program. Of course he's tuned in, not just by the week, but by every day. I mean, he bleeds LSU, but nobody has contacted him. He's not going to talk about things he doesn't know about. We'll see what happens. I did like what he said about learning lessons from Aaron Glenn and his name in the headlines and just how it really is. It's cliche, but it's about where your feet are. And he doesn't want to politic. He wants to let his work as Detroit Lions defensive coordinator do the talking for him.
I just appreciate the fact that with this coaching staff, and then Sheppard just proved it right there in his answer, he's not trying to play anybody like we're stupid.
No.
Of course he's looking, he's not maybe trying to get the job, but of course he's aware of what's going on. It's his alma mater. He's probably shed real blood on that out there in Death Valley. So I just appreciated that fact that he just didn't try to play all coy. Oh, I don't know too much.
I used to get nervous when you'd come in and it's Glenn and Ben Johnson. You're like, shoot, I'm going to have to ask this question about this other job and stuff like that. With Sheppard, I was like, I ain't scared. He's going to talk about it. He might open his opening statement with it. I was thinking, but we were stepping each other. I mean, he's just so great at the podium. He really is. I mean, I like the way he handled that too. He doesn't play the fans or us as dumb. He's real. He's open. So something to watch, but not right now.
Right.
And that's where we're going to go into this week's mailbag, and we're going to open with our Doomer of the Week. If you want to be the Doomer of the Week, send a question, send a voice memo. A voice memo in consecutive weeks. It's not because I went to high school with this guy. He sent a voice memo 2 straight weeks. So our Doomer of the Week is Greenville High School own Kurt Hansen.
Dungeon of Doom, Kurt Hansen here, Greenville, Michigan. Now in Grand Rapids, went to school with the handsome Ben, miss you, big guy. Not much of a team question as much as it is just kind of I need a logistical help. Sunday, 1 o'clock game. Don't remember how those work. Supposed to be going to a pumpkin patch. You guys have any excuses I could use to skip that? These primetime games have been pretty easy. Just put the kids to bed a little earlier and it's golden. So any help would be appreciated, guys. Go Lions.
Awesome question. Miss you too, Kurt. Kurt's kind of like my origin story of how I got into media. We used to produce and act and anchor and edit videos for the Greenville High School Jacket Video Productions, JVP. Kurt really got my personality out in those videos. But Kurt, man, you've got the kids, Kory. If you were in Kory's Kurt's kid, my bad. That's right.
Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
If you were in Kurt's shoes, you wanted to watch the Lions this Sunday at 1 p.m., what would be your go-to way to try and make that happen?
Okay, so, part of me wants to go to the Michael Jordan meme about the kids. I'm not going to go with that because I don't want to get in trouble. But the other part of it is just...
I just got that.
Yeah. But the other part of me is just man, lying to the kid. How do I do that? Just, I don't know. You don't want to say you're under the weather, then you get under the weather.
Right.
Just say that, say that you have something, just say you have something important to do inside the house.
Okay.
I don't know.
See, all right, I get that too. I would just be like this, there's only 6 division games a year. This is the Vikings. They won 14 games last year. It took a season finale Sunday at 1 p.m. I don't get a chance to watch games at 1 p.m. anymore. I can do whatever you want me to do at 4 o'clock. I think that's what you go into. You go, this game means something. It's a division game. Talk about J.J. McCarthy and your hatred of the Vikings and just say, I'm free at 4 o'clock. What do you need from me, babe?
Do what the Lions cannot do inside this building. Offer bribes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Make it up. Promise. Try to make that cider patch happen on Saturday, maybe. The magnitude of the game, the division game, the 1 p.m. Sunday, the fact that you're available in the morning, available in the afternoon and evening, work that to your advantage. Great question, Kurt. I love it. We got you perfectly segued into this one at the end of our Hutch talk. We've got a mailbag question from Here for the Meme. Nice. Do you think Hutch's extension is an indication of what they plan to do before the trade deadline?
I think it is. I don't know. I'm not saying that they go out and just make a trade just to make a trade, but I do think that, they still need some bodies back. I know they keep saying that Marcus Davenport is coming back, but we haven't seen him. Obviously, him in the building here and there, but they haven't really been 100% committed on him coming back. We still don't know what's going on with Josh Paschal.
Yeah.
I think that there could be an opportunity for them to go out and maybe go grab an edge rusher at the trade deadline. And then whether they do or don't remains to be seen. But I think by getting this deal done, it at least lets them know, like, okay, if we decide to make a trade, this is what we could possibly go fish for.
Yeah, the Athletic reports that the Lions are asking around about edge defenders. ESPN's reported the same, but they've also mentioned cornerbacks a couple of times. I don't understand the cornerback talk. I know TA's working his way back. It sounds like he's going to be back this weekend. I would say 90% Terrion Arnold's back. I talked to him in the locker room on Tuesday. DJ Reed has 1 game minimum left to serve on IR. Kirby's knees coming together. They were really confident the bye week, and then getting him the Bucs game off would help him. We'll see on that. Branch is back. I just think after the Legion of Whom balled out, Maddox is back at practice. I don't see a need for a cornerback. Let those chips fall how they're going to fall. But edge rusher depth, you guys, I'm sorry. They still need it.
Yeah.
Muhammad's dealing with a hamstring injury now. He was estimated as limited on Wednesday's report, but there's nothing really past him besides a Tyrus Sweet and a Tyler Lacey. And I know those guys have really stepped up in the role and kind of been surprises in some of the things they've been able to do. But Muhammad dealing with a hamstring, Davenport's timetable still very to be determined at this point. He was eligible to start practicing this week. That has not happened yet. Dan Campbell did not seem overly confident that was coming in the next week even. So that might be some time. And every time we've asked about Paschal, we ask about Paschal about once every 10 to 14 days, and it's been the same, getting better still. I don't know, which, he's now more than a month and a half behind schedule.
Yeah, to me, that's concerning. This is a guy that, granted, Muhammad has played well when he's been out there. Now we have the hamstring injury, but Davenport was supposed to be the guy in that spot, and he's not there.
Yeah.
And you're a little thin in that area right now. So I think that, they're going to go ahead and see what they can, how they look through, this weekend versus the Vikings. But I definitely do think that a move is coming.
Yeah. I like the idea of Jalen Phillips from Miami just on the last year of his deal. Might be able to get him at a cheaper price. I see Kayvon Thibodeau being talked about. Giants are saying that's not happening. I don't think you want to sell the farm. And by the farm, I'm calling anything less than a 3rd-round pick for a depth rent edge rusher. But a guy like Jalen Phillips, man, you could talk me into some picks for him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think edge is the top need. Just some depth. You don't need a star. You don't even need a household name. I just think another guy that can go out there and play 20, 25 snaps, bank on Muhammad being who he is, bank on Davenport coming back. I'm just going to say it now. Nobody should be banking on Josh Paschal at this point. That sounds like if he's back on the field this year, it's a win. It's really just red flags all over the board about him. Hope he's doing all right. Yeah. We obviously know his history. It's still undisclosed, non-football injury, so we'll see what happens there. But really, no update.
That's the part that really makes me wonder how serious it is with him,
or what it is, or how serious it is. Yeah,
because at least with Davenport, they're saying we expect him back. Just don't know when. With Paschal, just I
don't know. We're trying. We're trying. Yeah, I haven't really seen him around the. You see him passing through the locker room every once in a while, but yeah, it's just unfortunate for him, unfortunate for them. Just because he is an inside-outside versatile piece that they could move around, especially with McNeil back, it would look good. But yeah. Let's get into another question. This is your guy, Chase.
Yep.
Chase E. Walker. How do the Lions feel about the team's overall health going forward? Do they feel more comfortable in the new schemes, given that it's been about almost halfway in the season? I'd say the health, they feel okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they feel 100% strong. One of the big things that just kind of popped off the top of my head, that was the Taylor Decker's shoulder.
Yeah. Decker's shoulder and Joseph's knee.
Yeah. The diminished returns on the shoulder. them taking this might be a little bit, on Joseph's knee. So I think they feel, like you said, okay would be the best way to describe that. I mean, and then you got some of the horses coming back with Reed, Arnold, Rodrigo had his clock started, Daniel Thomas.
Maddox back at practice is great.
So they got some horses coming back, but they still have two big pieces that have significant injuries, and I think those are some concerns.
I think the two biggest concerns are, like you said, Decker's shoulder and Joseph's knee, just because it's clear these guys are playing through some stuff, playing through some pain. But we'll see. They're confident that the rest during the week and kind of take it easy with them during the week and let them rehab and get it right and calm down as much as possible going into Sunday is what they're going to have to do. And at least it's two guys that have done that and proven that before. But yeah, those are the two that concern me the most, because it seems like Arnold's going to be back.
Yeah.
The way Reed's walking around the locker room, I don't know if it's going to be next week. I don't know how long he'll need in practice, but he's coming back in the next 3 weeks.
It doesn't look like, I'm not a doctor, but he appears to be walking around fine to me.
Yeah, and Maddox is the name that won't get a lot of attention, but if Avonte Maddox is healthy and available,
that's a big rotational piece.
That's depth at nickel. That's depth at safety. That's someone who's played all over the defensive backfield. That's why we wrote about Rock Ya-Sin and Avonte Maddox in the training camp and the preseason so much, because it's like these two veterans are going to save them eventually. Yeah. And Ya-Sin's already been there to save them. And then when he went down, Nick Whiteside saved him, which is just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. I love the quote from Branch and Sheppard this week. Those guys played better than we have all season. And Shep even said there's pressure.
They're putting the pressure on them.
And I love that. Yeah. I love that, because then that shows those Legion of Whom guys and the Tyra Sweet and the Tyler Lacey's we see you. Mm-hmm. We see that. We're not just going to discard you and say, hey, thanks for playing one game. No, that's putting pressure on guys. I don't know what that means, but it's real.
I mean, we're talking about a Shep, again, remember the viral Hard Knocks clip? I almost said Head Knocks, the viral Hard Knocks clip when he was talking about Malcolm Rodriguez. Don't make me play this rookie.
Exactly.
So Shep pretty much is. And also what he said earlier this season about, Arnold's play, when you just said, basically paraphrasing, there's not going to be any free passes.
Yep.
Shep is going to play who is practicing best that week, who he feels is going to give the Lions the best chance to win. And I think, publicly doubling down on that at various times when it's warranted, it does light a fire under those guys, the Legion of Whom, they're like, hey, if I work my butt off here, I may see the field.
Yeah. Let's dial up that second voice memo. We got Craig Chadrick. He's also in the running for a Doomer of the Week. We had a couple guys in Doomer of the Week. New Millennium's up there. Phil from Blue Skies up there. A couple guys in the running for Doomer of the Week. Phil, New Millennium, Charles Bryan. I see you, Eric. Eric, you're out there, man. We see you guys. You're in the running. Just another voice memo, and it could be yours. Yeah. But here's Craig Chadrick. Voice memo sent to the Dungeon of Doom at MLive.com. Email address. Use it. Save it. Love it.
Hey, Doomers, it's Craig, Detroit sports fan, displaced in Metro Cincinnati since 2007. One of the traits that I have associated with great teams and great franchises in my lifetime is the ability to win games despite not playing their best football. Through 7 games, this Lions team has absolutely displayed that trait and that attribute. What's a trait or an attribute that you associate with great teams and great franchises that this Lions team has displayed, or that you're still waiting for them to display? Thanks.
I think true leadership with Dan Campbell. Not just coach speak, but to coach speak to reality. We've talked about that a lot. I think that's what's powered them through these 7 games when the defense has been down, or when the offense has been down, or when the special teams have been lacking. They have picked each other up. They really do practice what they preach. For what I mean, it's the big thing I want to see get fixed is the third down offense. We've written about that a couple times this week. They think it's execution. I think the running game being a little less efficient this year has hurt them there a lot. But yeah, it's the traits that make teams win games when they aren't at their best starts with leadership. I'm talking about Jared Goff. I'm talking about Dan Campbell. I'm talking about St. Brown, Hutchinson, Sewell, Anzalone, Jack Campbell, those guys. You see true love. You see true brotherhood here. You see accountability at all levels, and it's real accountability. And I think it all starts up top. They've got a true CEO in Dan Campbell, and it just bleeds down, man. These guys are all Dan Campbell clones.
That's where I was going to go with the part of the brotherhood aspect. And I don't want to harp too much on the Brian Branch suspension, but
Yeah.
there was something that when I was talking to Dan Skipper that just really stuck out to me. So I talked to Skip and, about his, tweet about the NFL Turning Point Films video.
Louis Riddick.
And he paused and stepped back, said, let me kind of stop. I don't want to, really talk too much about it. Then afterward, maybe a minute, he called me back over and had me turn the corner back on and double down on how much he knows Brian Branch and what kind of person he is. And what that stood out to me was that it's a real brotherhood family environment. They are not just playing the games for themselves. They're playing for each other. They protect each other. And I think that for what the Lions are trying to accomplish, you need that complete brotherhood, that complete buy-in to be able to go accomplish something that great. So, I mean, that's what I've seen. You see all these Super Bowl teams like what Tom Brady has been a part of. All those guys feel like a brotherhood environment, and that is what I see starting to shape within this Lions locker room. It's not just position guys hanging out, position guys. All those guys mix and mingle with each other.
For sure.
So I think that's it. The big thing that I want to see for them to take that next step is getting back to, making those efficient plays throughout the offense, which John Morton said that he's been working on throughout the bye week with the third downs, figuring out ways to get Jameson Williams more involved. And also, too, the last one is just figuring out a way to get, we said this before, figuring out a way to get David Montgomery more involved in this offense. Granted, you got a home run hitter and somebody like Jahmyr Gibbs, but David Montgomery needs touches too.
David Montgomery and Jameson Williams need more touches coming out of the bye. I mean, John Morton said it today. If I were JMO, I'd be pissed at me too. Not saying JMO's pissed at him, but it's just him like, I played receiver. I've coached receiver. You should be pissed at me. And I like to hear that stuff. I like to hear those conversations because it just kind of speaks to like a guy like JMO getting paid $80 million, NFL's top deep threat. He's got like 2 catches outside of the Kansas City game in like 3 or 4 weeks. So they need to get him the ball more. And it's that accountability. It is being honest, real, genuine, and stuff like that. I mean, talking to Terry on the other day in the locker room, just like about the defensive backs and coaches wearing Brian Branch's jersey to the Bucs game. He's just like, we just wanted to show that even when he's not with us, he's with us. And Terry on, just a funny sidebar, shout out to the fans. He's like, yo, he had to front the bill on buying those jerseys. He's like, I got so much respect for fans who show up in jerseys, like looking up in the crowd and just seeing dollar signs. So he feels the pain too. Good question there. That voice memo, simple. Record it, computer, phone, send it to dungeonofdoom at MLive.com. Dungeonofdoom at MLive.com. Use it. We'll get you. We'll take care of you. We want to feature you guys on the podcast. I love hearing your voices, where you're from. I loved Cincinnati. That was my first time visiting Cincy a couple weeks ago. Great food, great little city. Watch the Tigers, great downtown area. Walked across the bridge from Kentucky. Good stuff. Another question here. Shan Nyman. I can't say Shane. Shane Nyman. Quick one here. What is an estimated practice report? Is it like an assumption based on the day before? Honest question, not trying to be a crank. I don't think you were either. It's a fair question. NFL estimated practice reports are used when a team doesn't practice or walk through. They're required by the league to release an injury report for that day. So the coaches estimate what they think that player's level of involvement would be. For me, sometimes I write those, sometimes I don't, because it's an estimated. Yeah. A day where they didn't practice yesterday would have been a day I would have normally even skipped that post and just used it as knowledge. But Muhammad missed practice on Tuesday. We didn't know why. We see it's a hamstring injury on the estimated report. I can write that. That's more information. Yeah. So it's literally just an estimated practice report. Good question, Shane. I like to answer those whenever I can. It's literally just the coaches being like, what do we think he would have? Would he have been full or limited today? Would he have been a non-participant? Was he working to the side? It's literally just keeping up with league rules and protocols and, updating the situation, playing between the lines and keeping it fair. I like that, though. Good question. New Millennium. Good question, New Millennium. We already covered the edge talk of the trade deadline. Charles Bryan. I know that the Lions are getting some of the starters back from injuries and such, but are Dan Campbell and Kelvin Sheppard giving those backups who perform pretty well some reps to keep them in the mix? I'm just thinking that there are still a lot of games left. Injuries are bound to happen again. It's a good segue from where we just were.
Yeah.
The Legion of Whom, Tyler Sweet, Tyler Lacey, That put pressures on guys in front of them. There's real opportunity.
I mean, yeah, guys like also too, like Nick Whiteside's probably going to get out there a little bit more.
Ironside.
Arthur Mullet. I mean, he's played well. I mean,
Mullet's been awesome.
Yeah, So I think it definitely does put some pressure on it. Also, too, just if they're playing well, you're able to kind of like limit the snap count on some of those other guys, so you can kind of like keep your starters fresh on his back end. Because one thing that decimated them last year towards the end was that really caught up with them in that Commanders divisional game was injuries.
They were just out of guys.
They were just
Meek broke his forearm 2 plays into the game. It was like, who the hell?
So the fact that you're able to have these guys you're pulling off the street, but they're playing meaningful snaps and playing well this early, I mean, that should give you some confidence down the line if you have to be if you're in a tight situation. But yeah, I don't want to say like load management or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
I
like, get
you.
But yeah, if you can kind of like give those guys a breather here and there when needed, it's good to know that you have the depth out there of guys that are stepping up.
And those guys built trust, and the type of trust that, like, if they aren't 100% sure that Terry Arnold's ready this weekend, they might feel more confident than they did 2 weeks ago. If DJ Reed's not ready to return in a week or two, they might feel more confidence in being able to roll with it. So I think the short term, that's what it happens. When you play like that, you're going to get chances. In practice, 100%. I think the one thing they really need to avoid, and it's going to be tough, is the stop and start with Decker and Joseph.
Yeah.
So that's where I go. On the offensive line, there's not a ton of options. It's Dan Skipper or it's, figuring something out. It's tough at tackle. Decker's going to have to play through it.
What would you do for this week when you got 2 hard games coming up against Philadelphia and Washington, and now you are hosting a Vikings team that is going to be tough defensively, but they have a J.J. McCarthy who is still very inexperienced under center. Do you kind of like just take this as another game to get those guys some rest, or what do you do?
I'd love to get Decker rest, but the Vikings blitz more than anybody in the league. 42% blitz rate. The hurry rate's unbelievable. They need Taylor Decker. Kirby Joseph,
I was wondering if he might be the guy. Maybe you can.
If you didn't get the recovery you expected from the game off in the bye week, slow it down. Slow it down, because it's not. They've said it a million times. It's not going to get better until he gets rest. I think they need Decker. They need Kirby Joseph, without doubt. But with Brian Branch and Terry Arnold potentially coming back, with Maddox potentially coming back, if there's any doubt that Joseph, if there's a thought that Joseph could deeply benefit from missing another game and just focusing on rehab and getting that thing right, then I think that's the one where I'm like, man, maybe give him another week.
Yeah, I think Joseph's the guy that I would kind of sit out. And then as far as Decker, I think with Decker, you just kind of like roll that thing until the wheels fall off, because, I mean,
you have to.
The defenses are not getting any easier coming up.
No, they're not. And it is interesting because I think it's Washington first after Minnesota, and Jaden's hurt right now too, and their receivers are banged up. So it is kind of like, damn, I think
Jaden did return this week.
Did he return? All right, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, I don't want to downplay McCarthy or the Vikings, because they still got Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. Aaron Jones is banged up, but like, man, if it's coming down to the wire and you're like, this could set him back, then I think you have to make a tough decision and say, hey, Avante, how you feel about safety? Thomas Harper, you got another one in you? Eric Hallett, you good to go? It's tough.
Another name I've missed.
Yeah, Eric Hallett was awesome too. I don't know. It's tough. They need Decker. Unfortunately, that's going to be sorry, bud. Need you. Joseph, I think there's a little more options there.
Yeah.
Jordy and Jason Jamerson. Maybe it's Jason Jameson. I might have copied and pasted that one wrong. They're both asking about the linebackers. Once available, what kind of role would Malcolm Rodriguez play? Special teams right away. Could he siphon some linebacker snaps? Rodrigo's going to be a special team star the second he's back.
Yeah.
He's awesome there. Him and Vaki immediately lift the special teams unit. Vaki's expected back this week. Sounds like Rodrigo's kind of targeting Washington or Philly. He just got back to practice. But in terms of linebacker, I think there will be some roles for him. Zach Cunningham just went on injured reserve. I got a couple questions for the Weekly Roar newsletter. Like, is Rodrigo the Anzalone replacement? No, because Anzalone is head and shoulders the best coverage linebacker they have, and it's just a different, that will linebacker position. Rodrigo is more of a run stopper. He's more of a when you see Zach Cunningham or Grant Stewart on the field, that's the kind of role. I think Rodrigo is an immediate upgrade over those guys.
Yeah.
Stewart's been awesome on special teams. He plays the way they want to play, but Rodrigo back on that defense, stuff and runs, that's his role. You know, I could see him settling into a 10 to 20 snap defensive role, heavy special teams role right out of the gates when he's ready to go. I mean, that's I think people have forgotten about Malcolm Rodriguez.
I don't know why he could. This guy is a spark plug on that defense. He's a he's a solid rotational guy when needed. But like you said, he's a special team star.
Yeah.
And him back out there just only going to lift that unit up some more. So I know they're chomping at the bit on his return.
Yeah. All Grit wants to know, Branch and Laporta rookie contracts expire in 2026. Are these the next extensions? Well, they also got to worry about Gibbs and Jack Campbell too. I'll let you take it after this. I think Gibbs and Jack Campbell and Brian Branch are in tier 1, while Laporta's in a wait and see mode just because of the tight end money. Laporta's awesome. They should 150,000,000% sign all 4, but I think you'll see Campbell and Gibbs first, and then Branch and Laporta as the ones after those.
I'm just wondering, will Laporta be one of the guys they go ahead and put a franchise tag on?
Possibly. Maybe you can Band-Aid that and figure out your financials with all those new deals kicking in 2026 to 2030 range. I think all 4 of those guys remain Lions, but as I'm sitting here right now, the top 2 priorities to me are Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell, because Jack Campbell, that price tag's just going to keep going up the better he gets.
Now, with the thing with Branch, and I'm not trying to use the suspension against him, but factoring in the whole picture and then the fines and everything like that, do you think that kind of brings the price down a little bit?
I do not. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Branch is a pro football Hall of Fame all decades team type of guy.
Absolutely.
I think the only pause there would be, holy crap, are we really about to pay $160 million plus to 2 safeties? I say, screw it. Yes. Yes. But that does need to be taken into consideration. But Brian Branch is so good. He's so special. He's so unique. He's so versatile. He's such a playmaker. They love him. The rallying around him, from the coaches to the teammates to everyone in this building, that speaks to what they feel about him. I've gotten that question a couple times. I don't think the on-field stuff, the suspension, the fines, I think that they believe they can toe that line even better, get him a little honed in. Branch was great when he talked to us earlier this week. I really think that Gibbs and Campbell need to get done first, because Gibbs is special and Jack Campbell just keeps getting freaking better. I mean, we got another question from 99. I think that's how you pronounce your Twitter handle. I go into Terry Jeffords from Brooklyn 99. It was just asking, like, is he like one of the best linebackers in the league in just his 3rd or 4th season? Yes. Jack Campbell is like literally put his name in the territory of like one of the best elite all around linebackers, running with the green dot responsibilities with flying colors. But yeah, Gibbs and Campbell are my top 2. And the only reason Branch isn't in that group is just because it's like, crap, that's a lot of money to safeties. Yeah. But I think all 4 get done. I would focus on Gibbs and Campbell.
I think Brad Holmes is going to do everything that he can to not just keep the guys that he drafted, but keep the guys that he drafted that are producing at a very high level.
Yeah.
And let's just be real. Anzalone's not going to play forever.
Yeah.
And this is going to be Jack Campbell's defense sooner than later.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs, he's their spark plug on the offense. Well, one of their spark plugs on the offense. Brian Branch, with him and Kirby Joseph, you still have, in my opinion, the league's best safety tandem. So I don't want to say that leaves Laporta as the odd man out, but that does leave him as the guy where, okay, maybe we can get a little bit creative with how we pay him, or we can explore some different options as opposed to giving him that extension right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, and we're saying all this just because, like, we watched them trade TJ Hawkinson before he got traded. And maybe, I mean, I think that was more to do with where they were at that time. But as these deals, I mean, it's nearly $1 billion in extensions that they've handed out. I think Dave Burkett was calling them the almost billionaire boys club, and that tab's just going up and up and up and up. So it's
that's the bill that Brad Holmes was talking about. The bill do.
And we're just trying to go off of what we've seen. They traded Hawkinson. Say what you will about Hawkinson, damn good pass catching tight end. Laporta's a better blocker. has looked like a better receiver too. He doesn't fall down right when he catches it. He actually had something after the catch. Hawk's great, but like you do have to like look at those and like, I wonder if that was like, I think about where the team was at that time, or maybe they don't want to pay a tight end $70 to $80 million. So we'll see. Sam Laporte is awesome. He's important here. There's a lot of mouths to feed. There have been a lot of mouths that have been fed. I think all 4 will stay. Yeah. I think they figure it out. And I think, but there's some tough calls coming, man. It's almost $1 billion committed to players.
I think I would say this. I think that's why it's also important for them to go ahead and run the table right now, because you're going to have some tough decisions. You can't keep everybody. Yeah. You just fiscally can't keep everybody. Yeah. So, I know that doesn't really have much to do with the question, but I think that's also why Campbell has been saying, in the past, like, you don't always get it back. So they got to go run it with this group they have right now, because I don't personally, as far as their roster, I don't see their roster being any better.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're going to finish out. We got some good questions. Shout out to Jacob Richmond for doing the practice report for me today. We had good questions. I'm going to get through them. Succubus Optimal Prime. Jesus Christ. Wants to know, have the Lions found their next Ben Johnson, but this time on defense?
Yeah. I think it's you know what? I don't want to say that they found their next Ben Johnson. They maybe just found their first Kelvin Sheppard.
Yeah. I think the parallels between Johnson and Sheppard are, literally climbed the ladder here and then just took off. Sheppard's 37 years old. Outside linebackers coach, defensive coordinator. Ben Johnson goes from like quality control, tight ends, passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator. I think there are some parallels there, but yeah, there's really no easy way to answer that. He's 37 years old, and the things he's doing are not normal. The things that he's done since getting here are not normal. He is on a fast track towards being a head coach, whether that's in the NFL, whether that's at LSU. There's going to be some really good opportunities for Kelvin Sheppard, and I apologize in advance, but you're going to have to deal with a lot of interview requests come December again.
It's going to happen. Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to leave, but he's good. Like you said, you're going to have to deal with those interview questions again. That's also a testament to Dan Campbell. Yes, it is. And him. And he's right now, you are really watching the Dan Campbell coaching tree starting to grow branches right before your very eyes, because he just has an ability to pick the right people and put them in the right places to pull as much as he can out of these groups. Like, when Deuce Staley left, and when Deuce left the organization, he brought in Scotty Montgomery. Yeah. Scotty's been doing a heck of a job from running backs to wide receivers.
They should get some interview requests too.
Yeah, when you move on from when you got to repurpose Scotty, you bring in Tashard Choice, and he's doing a solid job right now so far. Mark Brunell, the job he's done with Jared Goff,
awesome quarterback.
Awesome. It's you can pretty much go down the line. You come here and you coach. If you do your job, you're going to get promoted and you're going to get looks elsewhere. Sean Deanne Hamilton, assistant linebackers coach, now linebackers coach. If Shep goes, who knows? Maybe he could end up getting a look at the assist.
Dude, yeah, I know. It's crazy to be covering coaches younger than you like that. Not Shep, but like Sean Deanne Hamilton. Like I remember covering him in training camp. But yeah, it's just Sheppard's also in the situation of Johnson of like he doesn't have to leave at any old offer.
Yeah.
He's built a name. He's young. He's got a great job here. He's got the chance to wait for the offer that he wants. And you kind of saw that happen with Ben Johnson for 3 years. You saw that kind of happen with Aaron Glenn for a couple of years too. So yeah, good question there. One more before we get into Phil's NFC North section. I just wanted to answer these today. We got good questions and Jacob's helping out. But Damian Smith wants to know, to flip the trade deadline conversation, given this regime's emphasis on culture and fit, who is the most tradable asset on the team? I can't see anyone good they would part with. They're not selling anything. Like even the guys that are in like contract years, like Anzalone, he ain't going nowhere. Like you saw them trade their most tradable asset, and it was Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
Like there's just not one of those guys that sticks out to me, right? They're acquiring. They're not giving away anything. Right? Who would it be?
I don't know one player like, they could go ahead and get rid of this guy and it wouldn't. I don't see a guy that
No.
did trade that.
That doesn't exist here.
I think if anything, they would be packaging picks.
Yeah, they're not trading a player out.
Yeah, I don't see a body that they moved.
No.
At least this season.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll do Devin McKenzie's before we get into Phil's. Devin McKenzie, I recently watched the clip of Dan Campbell and Sheila Hamp give Mike O'Hara his flowers on his last day on the beat. Thought about how much change he has seen since he started in the 70s. Mike O'Hara, how has your job changed since you joined the Lions beat? And also, can you walk us through a week in the life of a Lions beat writer? The job changed? Yeah, there's been technological updates and different expectations from the leadership and stuff like that. But like the main change for me has been covering a coach that doesn't treat his team and everyone there to hate us and treat us as the enemy. It's an open organization. The PR staff is great. The players are great. The locker room is great. The coaches are great. I mean, like I said earlier, there was no fear asking Kelvin Sheppard about LSU. That's because I know he's a real dude who's going to answer the question. He's seen the post. Liked and unliked an AI-generated photo of him as LSU said. They're online. They're just easier to deal with. And I just think the technological updates, like the transcribing tools, are like the biggest change for me. Because like even when I first started on the beat in 2018, it was like, oh, let me go do my second job as a transcriber. There's more help in that department now. But yeah, it just walk us through a week in the Leaf and Lions beat writer. You look at the schedule and you go, okay, I've got homework to do. I need to come in 2 hours early and do that. Then I need to prepare questions. And I mean, it's Monday post game with Dan. Tuesday's usually off. Wednesday, busy day. Thursday, coordinators. Friday is kind of like, all right, what's left on the table? Saturday is prepare game previews and the Saturday morning post and wait for fines and the roster moves to come at 4:00. And then Sunday is pregame story and you're talking to fans and we're going to the stadium and inactives and a 1:00 game, I'll be home by 9:00. Primetime game, we get home by like 4:00 in the morning. And then it just starts again. That's why the bye week is so important to get away, because it's like Tuesday's our off day and we're still writing.
Yeah.
Saturdays are off day. We're still writing.
Yeah. For me, how's the beat changed? I mean, I don't really have anything to compare it to like you do with the coaching changes, because I mean, even though I did cover some stuff during the Patricia Day, it was like more so an article here.
Yeah.
Mainly I was doing photography, but as far as the writing, I started my journey as a beat writer Dan Campbell's first year.
Yeah.
So this is he's all I really know as far as the beat, just watching the team go from 3-13-1 his first season to now, being one of the classes of the NFC, something I've never seen in my lifetime with this.
It's the daily schedule with the new coaching staff too. I mean, the Patricia stuff, he used to talk at like 10 a.m. They'd practice at noon. Then they'd get like 5 hours off before locker room was open. Here, they're not making us sit around for 6 hours doing nothing and yelling at us when we have fun. It's everything bleeds into each other. Like right now, we're recording this podcast in a window. They're at practice right now. Like it's a very just cohesive, humane environment. Like, I mean, shoot, if I was coming in here in the Patricia era and I had to ask a DC about a job, be like, oh God, I'm about to get yelled at, made fun of, condescendingly, like making fun of my question and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It's, oh crap, I'm dealing with people. That's and Phil's a dedicated guy on Blue Sky, always sending questions. He's got us in an NFC North section. He's got questions about the rest of the NFC North. This is what we're ending with. He starts Packers. Week 1 in the NFL season is notorious for misleading results. What would the narrative around the Packers be if Week 1 hadn't happened? Not if the Lions won, but if you just look at their record without Week 1.
I think they would still have. I think they would still be looked at as one of the top teams in the NFC in the division. Super Bowl favorite and all that. I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, I think Week 1 was notoriously misleading for what we thought the Lions might be battling through and how hard it would be to get the communication issues on track and get the coordinators up to speed. The Packers are who I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if Week 1 hadn't happened, I don't think anything would have changed. I mean, if Jordan Love Breeze, 5 ESPN analysts tweet about it with like glowing remarks. So I think they are what they are. It's a well-coached team. It's a versatile offense. They got a lot of weapons. They've got a great young quarterback, and they've got a supercharged defense with Micah Parsons. We'd still be talking about the Packers the same way we are right now if Week 1 hadn't happened. What's up with the Vikings? National analysts spent the summer calling the Vikings one of the top 3 squads. And Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores are supposed to be QB and defensive savants. Have they taken a huge number of injuries? Has to be more than just a QB situation, right? A lot of changes on the defense, personnel, obviously the quarterback situation. I mean, Sam Darnold fit that operation like a glove. I really do think it's been injuries with the Vikings this year. Carson Wentz playing with a ripped off shoulder at this stage of his career. That's not going to net positive results. And now you got a young quarterback who's thrown 40 passes and played parts of 2 games. Even a quarterback savant like KFC, it's going to take a minute. And there were some personnel changes on that defense, and I think you still see the same defense. They're just kind of getting up to speed talent-wise with new faces breaking in. But the Vikings, I said it all season. I had them 3rd or 4th in division. I saw a step back this year, and that was with JJ expected to be in there for 17 games. You know, I just think learning curves were to be expected. I think last year's 14-win season and taking it to the wire was way punching out of their weight class last year even. Got a great head coach, great defensive coordinator, great superstars, and a young quarterback. I think that's what it is. It's quarterback changes.
Yeah, it's definitely the quarterback changes. I mean, JJ just right now does not have the experience, and I just felt that even though at the end of the season Sam Darnold did not play his best football.
No, he broke
to say
down.
The least.
Yeah.
He broke down, but that was still, I think, a guy that I think they pulled the plug on a little bit prematurely. You know, I don't know, maybe work out some kind of deal. I don't know, to bring him back, but I think right now you're just seeing, growing pains of they're basically restarting the franchise with a new young QB, and
that takes time.
Yeah,
it was the allure. I mean, you got this quarterback who's doing everything you want, Sam Darnold, but there's this unopened box.
Yeah.
Do you take what you have or do you take what you don't know? And you see them kind of went for that. I mean, I get it. They spent a first-round pick on JJ. I think JJ is going to be really good. It's just going to take some time. It's going to take some time. The Bears, last part. We're getting long. Ben seems to be settling them down. They've had some wins, but mostly against weak opposition. How do you see their season progressing? Will they continue to improve, or does Ben Johnson have them at their ceiling given their current talent? I think the Bears are just going to keep getting better. Just because as Ben gets more comfortable and they figure what they need. I don't think they're going to be pushing the Packers or the Lions or anything like that, but I had the Bears ahead of the Vikings in most of my preseason stuff too, and I just think Ben's getting some good stuff out of Caleb Williams right now. Swift has been better than I thought he's going to be. Got good receivers. They don't have that statement win yet for sure, but I think the Bears, they still have a ton of room to grow, man. That's a young quarterback. That's a first-year coach. Ben Johnson takes this freaking serious. He is an offensive wizard. They're just going to keep getting better and figuring out ways to get that quarterback where they want him to be.
I think they're solid. I think this year they got 4 wins right now.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably cap out somewhere maybe around 7 or 8.
They should be around 500.
Yeah, they should probably somewhere about 7 or 8. Caleb, I mean, he's been playing solid ball. It's kind of like it's kind of crazy. I think his stats kind of early mirror where he was around this time last season. So, once him and Ben kind of figure out that marriage between coach and quarterback, I think they'll be better. But, I don't think that them or the Vikings are anywhere close to where the Lions or the Packers are at. And I think it's going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's get out of here. Good mailbag, dungeonofdoom at MLive.com. Please send questions and voice memos there. Prediction for this weekend, Kory?
Ooh, I gave it on the other night. I'm going big. I'm going 38-13 Lions.
Let me get my score. I got the Lions winning by 17. Give me 27-10. Lions win. I think the defense balls out again. JJ coming back for the first time, going to be a little rusty. And I think the Lions are going to send some freaking heat. I think Aidan Hutchinson has a contract cementing game. Like, I see a big day for Hutch. I think the Lions win. 27-10 would be a big win to get to 6-2 heading into the back-to-back road trips against Washington and Philly. That's all we got. We'll see you this weekend. Oh, we get to record at like 7 p.m. and not 3 a.m. this Sunday. That's beautiful.
I'm going to be in bed by 10 p.m.
That's right. I might get to go to bed and wake up and write my column instead of doing it without sleeping. But hey, MLive.com/Lions, Dungeon of Doom at MLive.com. Use it, save it, love it, 24/7, 365. I'm Ben Raven. He's Kory Woods. We are MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast.